Hi, welcome to another video on Love is Blind UK, and this time we'll be talking about Catherine and Freddie. So first off, spoiler alert, I've already seen the finale and the reunion, and I understand it's an edited show. I am only analyzing the characters portrayed. I also believe that people can grow and change. This analysis is only for our own learning and reflection. Please do not use what I say to bother the cast. So the initial attraction between Freddie and Catherine seemed to be over their love of physical fitness.
Love the gym.
Do you go to the gym every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. You probably think I'm a weirdo.
I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say you go twice a day.
Yes, I do.
I do.
Which implies that they're possibly both physically attractive. They also seem to have bonded over serendipities, like predictions from Freddie's medium.
This is really mad. I went to a medium about 5 years ago, and she went, person you're going to marry, her name begins with a C.
And the possibility that they might be related.
My middle name's Mary.
Is it?
It's named after my gran.
My nana was called Mary.
Stop, I'm going to cry.
What's your granddad called?
Bill.
No, I've got goosebumps.
Stop.
Do you know what my granddad was called? Bill.
They seem to enjoy to see these serendipities as signs of fate or destiny.
I was destined to meet her.
Freddie may also have felt an understanding from Kat regarding his brother's Down syndrome.
He's got Down syndrome, my brother. He's absolutely amazing.
I actually teach Down syndrome kids to swim.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
And the level of care that he needs.
Something that my future wife would have to sort of understand is that
Because my brother's got Down syndrome, and
if anything like happened to my mum, I would have to be there for him.
I hear what you're saying.
In terms of personality types, Catherine and Freddie are actually very similar. They are both SI introverted sensing and FE extroverted feeling dominant types. They are like extroverted and introverted versions of each other.
We have things in common as in like family, like we can relate on a deep level and we understand.
And unless you differ greatly in your fundamental values and your level of maturity, being so similar in your cognitive function stacks creates a sense of camaraderie, commonality, and understanding.
the things we've got in common is just crazy. It feels good. It makes you tingle. Not in your pants, but...
However, there may not be enough difference or friction to create the chemistry we associate with romance. Whereas with Catherine and Ollie, the differences in their cognitive functions create more initial excitement, confusion, and intrigue.
Ollie's got my head confused.
It's a sort of attraction that goes beyond the physical appearance, but more of a psychological energy.
This is not a boy, like, this is a man. And I can't see him, but he's sexy.
Catherine's SI introverted sensing is more of a pulling, alluring energy.
I wear like a sports bra and like shorts.
Okay, that kind of like the sexy loungewear almost.
We can go for sexy loungewear.
Okay.
It draws people in, sort of like the sirens from the Odyssey. They signal that they want an experience and that they're available to be taken. The complementary function, SE, extroverted sensing with Ollie, is the more active function. SE wants to step forward to take SI, to initiate, provide an experience, and make things happen.
I feel like Catherine's giving more like sexual vibes rather than connection vibes. Does that make sense? She's pulling up what every man wants. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's obvious that Catherine has a lot of unhealed trauma from being adopted.
So I'm adopted,
Right, okay.
but it's okay.
She associates this with being unwanted, having no belonging, and being bullied for this has reinforced the shame that she feels.
And obviously I was just like, who am I? And I always see families and I see what they look like. And I never really knew what I looked like.
FE extroverted feeling is a function that needs to survey other people's feelings and values to reflect outside of themselves first in order to be clear about their own feelings, their own values, and their sense of self. FE identifies with the people or the community that they choose to belong to. So for Catherine, not feeling like she belongs to a family, a tribe, will make her feel lost in terms of her own identity.
When I was younger, like, I'd always be like the kid that was adopted.
SI introverted sensing is also a function that values their past, their history.
My birth mum gave me up. She kind of rejected me.
And so if they interpret their history as a story of rejection and abandonment, then SI types would tend to assume that what's happened before will keep happening. She will always be unwanted.
I think it emotionally damages you growing up, you know, You always have maybe that fear of rejection.
However, Kat actually has the power to choose a different narrative because alternatively, she could choose to belong to her adoptive family, her chosen friends and community, to put down her past and move forward. And I noticed that one of Catherine's coping mechanisms against this fear of abandonment is to leave people first before they get a chance to leave her.
And then we ended up in Cirque. What?
I go to those clubs all the time, but they are mad pretentious.
It's not a club I would go to on a regular basis. I went for my birthday. So, like, it's like a one-off.
Yeah.
To leave people at the first whiff of rejection.
I feel like the vibe was there strong from early. Is that just almost like lust without actually seeing each other? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
'Cause I think it is still too early to completely rule anyone else out.
From what was shown, to me, Ollie and Kat seem to have ended things on mutual terms.
You took it well?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I made the right decision.
You were good. She took it really well. Yeah,
Swear.
Yeah, everything's good now. Yeah, that went so much smoother than I thought it was going to be.
Did you just break up with someone?
Yeah.
Basically, Ollie started thinking that Kat didn't quite fit the bill for him.
I had a date with Catherine, and that was hitting on paper, hitting in my head, but not hitting in my heart. I know that sounds mad cheesy, but like...
I get it, man.
Whilst Kat sensed Ollie's retraction and judgment.
I told Ollie I went to, like, Cirque for a night out, and he was like, oh, I know the type of girls that go to Cirque. And I explained it. He was like, oh, OK, I get you. And I'm like, you're literally thinking so much into this.
Yeah.
And so she decided to end things before Ollie does.
I'm going to make it easier for you.
Okay.
I don't like getting in the way, and I just want you to be happy. So I just want to make it easy for you.
Oh, you're so cool.
Often people cope with their deepest fears by going to great lengths to create a different reality for themselves so that they never have to confront that fear. So with Catherine, by proactively taking control and beating Ollie to the farewell speech, Kat was creating a different reality, a narrative where she was not rejected, but she did the rejecting.
Yeah, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person.
So then Kat can tell herself and other people that Ollie didn't leave her, she left Ollie.
I'm so happy that I ended it with Ollie.
And therefore avoid facing her fear of abandonment. I feel this is why Catherine got so upset when she heard that Ollie told the guys a different version of how they ended.
You know, him saying that he called it off the pods, which is not true. It just hurts because I went in there so genuine and I was like really conscious that he wasn't upset.
When she had worked so hard to create a narrative that she wanted.
I just don't think that matters.
Yeah, but for me it does. Yeah, but for me it does.
I get that, but like, I just think that's the pride thing. I think at the end of the day, you've been true to yourself and it doesn't matter.
I feel we can see here how Ollie didn't seem that bothered either way.
You kind of were saying that, you know, you called it off of me.
Do you know what? I'm not going to say, oh, that's definitely not true, because I can't actually remember exactly what I said when I came back. I thought I'd gone back and said that I was gonna say that, and then you kind of beat me to it.
In fact, I think Ollie was happy to say that they ended on mutual terms.
And I was kind of like relieved that we were on the same page.
100%.
If I did say that, I apologize, because that's not true.
It was Kat who was so emotionally attached to the narrative being put out to avoid being seen as unwanted.
He's made it for lying and he says,
Oh, good. There you go. Move past it. There you go.
Guys have a tendency to do that when they're trying to protect their own
And they're
egos, right?
prideful,
And their
yeah.
pride.
Whilst Ollie was being judgmental towards her, Freddie was being understanding and accepting.
But if somebody understands this girl's adopted, that's why she thinks like that. It will make my connection with that guy stronger. When I come out the pods with you, I feel so content.
Freddie always knew how to validate her feelings.
I'm not here to fool anybody. I'm not here for games. I'm here to meet somebody that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life.
And how to make her feel safe.
Freddie makes me feel like family. He makes me feel safe. He literally makes me feel like I can be me.
Overall, my feeling is that Catherine chose Freddie because he was the safe choice, someone who was clearly into her.
Would you say love is blind?
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that I love you.
And I'm not saying that Catherine wasn't into Freddie because I think she was. What I'm saying is that a huge part of her decision was driven by who she thought would never leave her.
Freddie has lived up to my expectations and more. Like, just holding him, like, I just didn't want to let him go.
In a way, Catherine's initial belief that Freddie won't ever leave her, won't ever let her down, that's a form of idealization.
He's just the best. I just feel so lucky.
But the hard truth is, no one is perfect, not even Freddie. And if we expect perfection from someone, then that's a guarantee for disappointment.
Have you ever cheated?
Yeah, I have cheated, yeah. And like,
Perhaps this is why, the minute Freddie was revealed to be not perfect, Catherine's feelings turned a 180.
and I'm gonna be truthful, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just being me, I'm being real. I have cheated in the past.
Kat acted as if Freddie had betrayed her already when he didn't cheat on her, and she didn't bring up the subject of cheating in the pods when she claimed that's a deal breaker.
Has he gone down a little notch? Yeah. I don't want to be with a guy who cheats.
And look, I think it's totally reasonable and normal to have concerns over a partner's past cheating, and it's important to understand the context in which it happened. However, in this particular case, I feel that Catherine might have somewhat exaggerated the threat. Firstly, Freddie was honest about it, and on international TV, no less.
And it's obviously a massive regret in my life, and I wish it never happened, and I have thought about it, you know, loads and loads and loads.
Like you can see how that like messes someone up.
Yeah, of course. And like I say, if I wanted you to think I'm the perfect guy, then I'd have said, no, I've never cheated. Of course I haven't.
Yeah, you would just
But I want to be
I
honest
know.
with you.
He wasn't being defensive, he didn't make any excuses for it, he just owned up to his mistake. Second, his cheating happened 7 or 8 years ago now, and only once.
It was, you know, it was 7 years ago, but I do regret what happened, and I don't want her to have a bad opinion of me. I just want her to have the peace of mind knowing that she's safe with me.
Thirdly, Freddie seemed genuinely remorseful and ashamed of what he did.
I think it was like, you know, it's difficult to talk about to you. It doesn't define me as a person, you know. Obviously, I made a mistake and I regret it, you know. I'm okay.
You sure?
But again, like what she did with Ollie, she's psychologically preparing for Freddie to leave. Related to her fear of abandonment is Catherine's fear of not being good enough.
I'm so nervous about sharing a bed with Freddie. He looks like some crazy model, like a cheese grater.
And I'm sure that fear was not helped by Freddie looking like a Greek god in Greece.
I mean, look at him. Are you kidding?
So if Catherine is already insecure and she's also had a history of being let down by men, then it's normal for her to doubt whether Freddie would really stick around.
I think it's just weird how like, I always doubt myself. Like, I always sometimes don't feel good enough for you.
I've told you that you look beautiful every day.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when he seems too good to be true.
Like, I know you mean it, but I think there's always just like that inner me that's just like, oh, does he? Or like, is he just saying that? Like, I've not been with someone who has said it and meant it. So that's why like I'm always needing reassurance.
So to avoid that fear of inadequacy, not feeling good enough, Catherine starts to find fault in Freddie and their relationship.
Is it gonna be weird explaining to people that like I'm your wife or fiance, or are they gonna be like, what the hell? There's no like random females hiding that'll like come and attack me.
No crazy exes, no.
She finds evidence to tell herself that it's Freddie who is not good enough, not her.
I've always been the one to say, once a cheat, always a cheat.
Okay.
And again, I want to reiterate that it's perfectly normal to have concerns about your partner's previous infidelity. It's okay if you decide that that's a deal breaker for you. But what's not okay is to not give your partner clarity on your position. You're either in or you're out. You can't be in and then constantly punish them. Catherine behaved as though Freddie had already cheated on her.
I'm not holding on to anything from the retreat, but I don't know. There's just tension for some reason. And I am getting irritated easily, yeah.
She kept punishing him with constant criticism.
I'm not a dog. Please stop stroking me like a dog.
And contempt.
You do clash with certain things, but I think that's just
That's because you like a good joke. You're very good at winding.
Oh, yeah.
Winding people up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Also, and this might be controversial, is Catherine even really in a position to be that judgmental about Freddie's infidelity?
Have you ever cheated?
I don't know.
I do believe that Kat technically has never cheated on anyone, but we have to ask, what is considered being unfaithful in her book?
And listen, if you are ever in town...
100%. I live in London, so I'm down the road. You know where I'm at.
I know your vibe.
I love you.
Because from what we've seen, I could argue that she is definitely capable and familiar with the grey areas.
I'll get you up.
Awesome. Yeah, 100%. You've got to.
Just behave.
I will. I'm being good. Like, literally, you know, I'm walking away with an engagement ring here, so...
I actually want his ring, guys.
And I'm not saying that Catherine is a cheater. I'm saying that she can't judge Freddie's past past so harshly given her own present behavior. Because she herself, I could argue, is also capable of the essence of infidelity, i.e. seeking ego boost when she's feeling unhappy in her relationship.
But when I'm on a night out, I want reassurance, I need attention.
And actively pursuing attention from others.
I don't intentionally flirt, but I think it could come across as flirting.
Just as we've observed in all my other videos, all of Catherine's coping mechanisms is how hurt people hurt people. Another main factor in the breakdown of their relationship is that Catherine and Freddie seem to lead very different lifestyles.
I want someone who I can do fun stuff with. Like, just because you're married doesn't mean you need to sit at home all day.
Catherine is more socially extroverted and Freddie is more introverted.
I think that she's sort of quite outgoing and I'm a bit more sort of, I'll stay in and watch a film.
And it's not to say that an extrovert and an introvert can never work, but in this case, both Kat and Freddie demanded that their partner do the same things as themselves.
When we go shopping, is it something you would want to do with me, or would you just let me do me?
I'd come with you. I'd just sit down on the sofa or whatever and just...
But I'd feel like I'd be just dragging you around. I feel like...
Yeah, you would be doing.
I'm not a shopaholic, but like, you're my partner. Like, I want to be able to go to the shops with you.
Okay.
And they also started shaming each other for being who they are and being different.
No, don't get me wrong, I love going out, you know, for like a meal every now and then.
But you don't drink and you don't go out.
Yeah, I'm not like...
Do you think Kat is high maintenance?
Yeah, I do a little bit, yeah. I think she is a bit, yeah.
I feel a lot of long-term relationships are about managing closeness versus autonomy. Differences can only work if you accept that you and your partner are different and are separate beings who love each other and coexist.
I do worry that our lifestyles are a little bit different. That is...
But though, is that okay though? Just because if, say, you think Kat is like that way, is that okay?
No, I don't think so, because I think that I would not satisfy her.
Misery starts to happen when you force each other to merge into one. With Freddie, I find that he tends to take on other people's values and not lead with his own. FE, extroverted feeling, tends to absorb the values and feelings of other people, which gets assimilated into their own sense of self and their values. So who they surround themselves with directly affects how they see themselves and how they feel about a situation. In the first part of this experiment, when Freddie only interacted with Catherine, she was his main reference point.
I do feel a bit misunderstood by Catherine sometimes. I think she feels like I'm constantly joking and stuff. I think that maybe I'm just a bit too much for her. Maybe I need to just tone it down a bit.
Freddie completely took on Catherine's judgment of him, even taking responsibility for her mood swings.
I'm sorry for, you know, pushing your buttons and...
At least you know.
Yeah.
He was manipulated to feel like he wasn't good enough.
If she's not making you feel like you are good enough...
It's not even, it's not that, it's just, it's more that I don't feel as if I'm good enough for her, maybe.
Freddie even looked more and more depressed the more time he spent with Kat.
I can tell he seems a little bit more reserved. I don't know whether that's the pressure.
And the turning point was when Freddie's sister gave him her perspective, a different set of values he could source from.
Maybe the question is she good enough for you?
And at the Pod Squad party, fellow castmate Aaron also validated Freddie's feelings, giving him more confidence to stand up against Catherine and her emotionally abusive behaviour.
I think she likes that sort of bougie lifestyle and I'm not about that. And 100%. I've raised this to her, but she sort of comes back and says, oh, well, I'm not. And sometimes I think she's just saying this stuff to keep me sweet or...
Something's pissing you off. I've got to say it. You need to be really, really sure.
Interestingly, as he took on these values that he basically deserves more, I see Freddie almost mirroring Catherine's treatment of him.
I've been there and I've been to this club and I've done this, I've been to Ocean Beach, I've done this, and I'm thinking I've never sort of dated a girl like that. And without...
A girl like that?
Yeah.
He was being critical and judgmental towards Catherine in return, also not giving her the grace as she didn't give him the grace.
Do you think I eat in like Nobu every day? This is the first time you have vocalised this whole materialistic side of me. I don't live this life, and it's starting to piss me off, and I feel like you're literally now picking on me.
A form of judgment that both Catherine and Freddie share stems from SI, introverted sensing. SI is a post-processing function. It projects what will happen in the future, heavily referencing the past, especially their own subjective perception of the past. And so the SI assumption is what has happened before will likely happen again.
I've always been the one to say, once a cheat, always a cheat.
Yeah.
And I kind of stick by that.
Both Kat and Freddie essentially judge each other for being incapable of change, that they will always do what they've done before.
I need to stop snapping and stop being bossy. You've not shut up about it.
I got bullied a lot as a kid, and that's probably why I'm fiery. But I'm willing to sit back and assess my attitude towards you.
It's easy to change something for now and then revert back to sort of...
No, it's not.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
So just as Catherine thinks once a cheat, always a cheat, Freddie returns it with once a bitch, always a bitch.
In order to prove something, it has to be put into practice for a long period of time, not just a couple of weeks.
Another contentious point from this relationship was the subject of Freddie's will or a prenup.
If we were to get married, legally you'll be entitled to, my money. Would you be offended if I was to get something in place to say that my assets would be going to, say, my sister if I was to pass away?
That sucks that you've said that.
And I think given the context of this show, that you're marrying someone you've literally just met and the legal implications of marriage, I do feel Freddie was being reasonable. However, the way he brought up the subject, how cold he was being versus his previous self, made me feel that this was his way to push Catherine away after all the rejection he felt from her.
If you don't want to get married, just tell me.
And I say this because Freddie could have brought it up in a way that was more collaborative, more reassuring. For example, he could have suggested that they could revise the terms of the will or the prenup after a certain period of being married. However, the way that Freddie put it made Catherine feel like it's quite set in stone and final.
But in the prenup, you got nothing of you in there.
I don't think so.
Say like in 20 years' time, you're absolutely happy married, love the guy.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
You got 2 kids.
I feel like Freddie's underlying intention was to make things difficult for Kat to stay.
Do you think that's a sign then that he's already thinking about potentially separating?
It's giving it an easier option, isn't it?
An indirect way to create distance between them so that Catherine eventually leaves by herself without him having to reject her outright and initiate their breakup. And I mentioned in another video that types with FE extroverted feeling tend to find it quite excruciating to break up with someone, to outright reject someone.
This isn't a goodbye, it's not a rejection of the love that we share. Part of me wanted to say yes and embark on this journey with you. I know that I'm faced with a truth that we both have to acknowledge.
And if they must reject you, say because a Netflix show has backed them into a corner too, then I find that people with FE parent in the second position tend to try to soften the blow by offering a lot of padding because they feel a heavy obligation to look after other people's feelings.
I think the fact that he's bought you earrings to wear today.
I feel like why would you write that letter, get someone really hyped up for a situation, and he's
Stop,
just like,
don't, because I can't get my hopes up.
So Freddie's padding includes gifting Catherine the earrings, to reassuring her parents.
So what's your future with her now?
I'm hoping that we're still going to pursue a life together, we're still going to live together and make it work.
To consoling Catherine after the fact, as if he's not leaving her for good.
Do you trust what we have?
I do trust, and it's just going to take a lot for me to bounce back.
Yeah, I understand. And I'm here to work through this together. Yeah.
And despite the good intentions, Freddie's emotional padding could also be misunderstood as giving false hope or being confusing and misleading.
About the earrings, you knew you weren't going to get married at that point. So why the gift?
I feel like if I didn't get the earrings,
Yeah.
it might have been frowned upon. That I didn't get your present. And if I did get you the earrings, it'd have been seen as he's misled me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and interesting. Special shout out to Veronica for your super thanks in my last video. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and share to support this channel. I've developed my own methods of interpreting personality types. If you would like us to analyze your personality type and make sense of your relationships, communication, and decision making, then please find booking details in the description box below.